what's supposed to be a freaking joyous day because we have Blue Protocol Star Resonance got a global release date launch. But honestly speaking, first and foremost, who the hell is A Plus Japan and BOKURA? Those are the two studios who are handling this project. And so I have some concerns about this whole project in general, and we're going to go over the concerns I have here and why I have them about this project. Many of y'all are super excited for this, and for good reason, but I can't help but be like, yeah, I don't know. As someone who played Blue Protocol JP for its entire run, I played on JP side for its entire run, I can immediately point some things out to you that are kind of and some things that do look better or whatnot. Of course, post beta just wrapped up for the Chinese version here of Star Resonance, which is the reincarnated version of Blue Protocol, because Blue Protocol JP died at the beginning of this year. So in January, I believe it was, and the service was announced like in October or something like that of 2024, but then it stayed open and they kept updating it until in the service in January. So, but nonetheless, let's dive into here and see what is going on with this nonsense that is these studios that are behind this and why I have concerns concerning this in the first place. But first, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out tremendously. Thank you very much. So for those who are not aware, they did release a trailer, as you can see here, for Blue Protocol Star Resonance, which is going to be released in 2025 globally. So this is something to be excited about, one would assume. You know, as you can see here with the trailer here that's playing in the background, it's about a 2-minute trailer showcasing everything that's going on here. And, you know, should you be excited about it and whatnot. Now, it shows a lot of similarities as it would with the original version, the JP version. You see fishing right there as well, and it shows a lot of similarities with this. We'll come back to this in a second, but the thing is that this game is heavily focused on mobile, and that's kind of the big alarming issue here, because these companies here, and we did the research, are very mobile focused companies. So first and foremost, what is A Plus Japan, dude? So as we flip over here, this is A Plus Japan. So I had to look it up because I really want to know what the hell was going on with these two companies. So A Plus Japan was founded in 2019. Okay, like these are like two no names. Do understand that, of course, Bokura is under Tencent, and Tencent, for everyone knows who Tencent is. That's a huge, mega corp that owns, like, that has the hand in everything. All your Riot stuff, Valorant, League of Legends, all that stuff. They have a hand in everything. But Plus Japan is a very small company, and it appears that the only thing that they really have worked on here that's notable is Blue Protocol. Now, I mean, they have these other projects here, which I can't say for sure if these are like, I mean, y'all might know these games more than I do. Like I said, they're very mobile centric. So I don't really know for sure how exactly in depth all these games are, successful they are. But the thing is that they focus on mobile games. There's no question about that. I don't know why it's taking so long to load. It's having an issue loading there. But you can see here there's a One Punch Man World, My Hero Academia, The Strongest Hero, Street Fighter Duel, and Lord of Nazareth. So if y'all can let me know in the comments below how successful these games are, how they operate, how they work, that would give us a better insight to understanding this company and its impact on Star Resonance. But they were founded in 2019, so as you can see here, they have a couple studios here. So one in Tokyo, one in Shanghai, one in Singapore. So as you can see here, and as listed here, they say game planning and development, game global publishing, and intellectual property and game collaboration. So that's interesting. I guess you can see that their news here is really Blue Protocol Star Resonance. That's the English version coming. And then these other things here, last thing was in 2024 that was notable to be mentioned. And then the whole year, 2023. So, I mean, I guess they're kind of sporadic. I don't really know. But either way, don't be confused, because all this is oversighted by the fact that Tencent is involved in this project. So it can't be that bad, because Tencent has the financials and they will make sure that the financials are provided for all this stuff. So there's really no concern there. However, it just comes down to what's really the direction of this game. So they have Blue Protocol here, Star Resonance, that's coming out, and they're in conjunction with Bokura. Bokura is a Chinese company, and this one is directly under Tencent. They're the ones who are really doing the pretty much everything involving Star Resonance. So they're a Chinese company. I can't really. I'm not a Chinese reader, so I can't really do too much for you here. I can try to have this thing translate if it cans. But there's a about section as well here, which I cannot find. But these guys are pretty much mobile focused as well. They do a lot of mobile stuff, and they're a very small company. They're extremely small companies. So this is like their first big project. So we have two small companies coming into this, entity that's Blue Protocol, and both of them are kind of mobile centric. So where exactly do we go from here? So this is the about section here. So this is a translate, just an auto translate. So who knows if this is actually accurate, but a game, this is about them. A game with love and temperature develops a big family. Our core team members, I tried to zoom in, but I guess our core team members all come from major factories and have long focus on the large, high precision MMORPG, ARPG field. So that's what the focus is on. Remember, this is like a rough translation. At present, we are making a global younger world MMORPG. Now, this is younger world MMORPG. So they're talking about Blue Protocol here. The game has a high quality animation style. Content advocates anti-circuits, freedom, and personalization. There's only a pure game research and development environment here. Everyone only needs to pay attention to how to continue to challenge, continue to create games that exceed the expectations of players and work together to achieve the next influential game in the world. So that's like the rough translation there. I don't know how accurate that translation is, but I looked up into them, and pretty much like the only thing that they really have here on the resume is Star Resonance. So Tencent's pretty much, taking the pathway with these smaller studios and letting them, do their thing. And we will see if this pays out for Blue Protocol. Of course, Tencent, I'm not going to go over Tencent because y'all know who Tencent is. Tencent is huge. Just look it up on Wiki or something because they're huge. They have their foot in everything. They're a mega power company. I think like the government. I think the U.S. government views them as like a military, but like, they're in everything, bro. Like they're huge. They're huge, but they're the oversight over this. So the plus side is that there's no lack of finances in regards to this. And if you recall, of course, remember this is a Bandai project as well because Bandai was the original. That's the original IP. So you can see they're down here still listed here as well. But however, BOKURA is the people who are doing this game ultimately. So that's kind of your know-hows about the BOKURA and A+. And that really has you wondering because Blue Protocol is a mobile-centric game. And, well, I mean, not mobile-centric, but it's a game that's mobile and PC. It was being built for mobile. The fact it's being built for mobile in the first place is an issue in the first place. Because just by default, being built for mobile means that PC is going to be bottlenecked. Because if you're building a game, it's cross-platform, and it's once for mobile, something that's much lesser than what a PC can do, you have to build it in ways that can be implemented both in PC and mobile. And they say that this is going to be shared progression. So you can play together and you can stop on PC, then go to mobile, play on mobile, go to PC, which means that these systems have to be interactable to a certain degree, and they have to be not too crazily advanced or whatnot. Now, I've been watching close beta tests on this, and I will admit that the game does look better than I thought it would be for a mobile, considering it's a mobile game as well. It does look better than I thought it would. However, you could very clearly tell that there is a lot of dumbing down of things in comparison to what Blue Protocol was originally, the JP version. And when I say that, because a lot of y'all might be like, wait, what? Blue Protocol, this is better than Blue Protocol JP. Most of y'all who are saying that probably played it when it first came out, and then y'all got banned. So please understand that they did a phenomenal job at continuing to tweak things and add things and change things, the combat system, the quality of life stuff, throughout the life of that game. By the time I got to end of service, the combat on that game was very well polished, and it felt very good, but of course, it was overshadowed by these other issues like the gotchas and all that stuff, which this game, Star Resonance, is not really going to have as much from what we see. Seems like there's really just, as of right now, there's really the gotcha is just like fashion stuff, and that can even be sold on the personal shop, the trade shop. So there's a trade shop in this game as well. So that's good, but it seems like they kind of steered away from that gotcha premise that kind of got Blue Protocol into trouble. It's not really that it got into trouble. It's more so that Bandai, the uppers, were so aggressively pushing it, and so everything was built around it, and it was just ridiculously priced because they really wanted to get their money back because this game was in development hell for years. So the uppers at Bandai were trying to get their money back, and it was just it was dumb. But that's the plus side with this one, is that you're not seeing that gotcha, that aggressive gotcha. But even with these classes, you can already tell with the gameplay with it that things are dumbed down. And the biggest thing that is very obvious about that is the Frost Mage. The Frost Mage is a mage specifically that specializes in frost. Whereas in the original game of the mage, you could use all elements, whether it was fire, ice, electricity, whatever. You could use all those. You could have combinations and stuff like that. It was a pretty intricate little system as the game, later on in the game when they revamped the combat and stuff. So this is something that you see here that you will immediately be like, okay, well that's a little different. That's a little okay, well. But the plus side though is that they did bring back the Holy Trinity. So you have like an actual healer here, which is pretty cool. A really big AoE area. This would have been the archer in the archer or the bard could heal in the original JP Blue Protocol, which was pretty good as well. They felt very smooth. Like I said, the combat system in that game got completely reworked as the game kept going on. So those of y'all who might be comparing this to what Blue Protocol was when it first came out, you have no idea how much better that combat system got because it was significant. Now the plus side here is of course the fact that Amazon Games is not handling this. Because let's be honest, if Amazon Games is handling it, you already know it's a wrap. It's an immediate wrap if Amazon Games is handling it. But Amazon Games is not handling it. So that's a plus right there already out the gate that we can be very excited about that Amazon Games is not handling it. But you can tell here by, I'm going to show you, you'll see in this right here, this comment that's going on right here. And you can just tell from looking at it very quickly that, there's definitely mobile elements to it. There's things are not necessarily very, super duper technical or lots of things going on at once or whatever. And I'm going to show you some of the gameplay from one of my some of my videos from some of the later stages of Blue Protocol JP, so we can kind of see and compare there. But don't get me wrong, the gameplay in this doesn't look bad, and in some ways some of these classes look pretty fun. But I'm just real skeptical about it, and as you can see there, coming 2025, and you can check it out for Steam, Epic Store, Google Play, and the App Store. So it's coming for everything. It's coming for everything. Coming for your wife, your kids. So you can wishlist this right now as well if you want to go ahead and do that. But this is coming in 2025. Not too sure if this is going to be Q3, Q4. But I guess towards the end of the year. Maybe, who knows, they might like surprise us and it's like 2 months from now or something. Who knows? That'd be pretty cool. Either way, I'm going to check it out because it's free to play. There's no reason not to. However, I'm not getting my expectations too high on it because it seems like it's just very much targeted towards it's like a pseudo MMORPG, but very much targeted towards young users. But at the same time, it's still Blue Protocol, and they kept a lot of those foundational things in it, so it's still an MMORPG. I was looking at a lot of videos for the closed beta, and it actually does look like it's like an MMORPG. So it's hard to say. It's open world, and there's no like auto stuff, so that's good because you would think maybe there's auto stuff for mobile games, but there's none. So it seems like a grindy type of game. Potentially you have to spend time on it. So if that is the case, that's very good. That's very great, and that really gives me some hope there. But like I said, you have two developers that are mobile centric, that are focusing on this game, and one that they've had successes in mobile games, and then I guess you're really just taking the groundwork of what the Bandai did on the JP side for the PC game, and then maybe you're tweaking it a little bit, but ultimately speaking, you're focusing on mobile. So it's like, where does it really go as it continues? It's hard to say, and that's where I'm a little confused on. That's where I'm kind of skeptical about the whole thing. Let's show some of this other combat, by the way, that I want to show y'all. And so this is a video from one of my Blue Protocol playlist where I have a lot of the story here that we played over the years. And so this is just I can't remember when this video was when this was, but it was towards the end of last year or something like that. But so it gives you a good representation of what the combat looks like in the JP version. This is revamped here. As you can see on this bottom menu with all these macros or these options, these action options. When the game first came out, there was only just 4 of these. So naturally, yeah, it was pretty bad. But obviously, you see there's 2 wheels here, and this is like this for a long time before the end of service happened. But for instance, this is a dungeon that's being run now. Now, of course, not having the dungeon is perfectly okay, and but we're really just showing the combat here. So I want you to see just how different the combat really is, and like how much is going on here. And if you look at my menu there at the bottom, you'll see me kind of going through things. Of course, we get slapped here a little bit, and this is on Twin Strikers. And so you'll kind of see here, and there's a lot of different elements going on here. There's actually a different element during this that wasn't implemented. There's another combat element that they had here, which came after this, which allows you to chain these attacks together even further. But you're not seeing it here because I would be using it right here. I would definitely be using it right here, where it's not showing right here. But this was an element that was within the game prior as well. So the combat is very, 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 very expansive within the original JP version of it. It's just that there's all this other stuff that was kind of poopity cheeks about it. So that's where the issue came at. But you don't see this in the version that we have of Star Residence now. It's just not there. It's not there in the same light. The same technicality of it is not there. It's very clear that there's an emphasis on mobile gaming there. And that's for better or for worse. Now, it's probably for better because a lot of people play on mobile nowadays, right? And quite frankly, it can't be for worse because the fact of the matter is that it's going to be released across the globe this time. So you're getting a whole bunch of people exposed to it. A bunch of eyes are going to be on it. And that is a huge plus, especially for an MMORPG, which are centered around its freaking community. So having all these people playing, that's going to be a very huge thing to be handling and to really give growth to the game when it comes out. Now, will it be, will it be what we hope it is? Only time can really tell. The closed beta, like I said, really lets you see that it's going to be a pretty fun game and it has a lot of similarities to the original Blue Protocol that we're seeing here. Now, the story is entirely different, completely different, characters and everything's been revamped in that regard. And it's a very open world centric game. So very much like no load screens, no load zones and stuff like that, besides like the main city and the open area. So, but there was a lot of maps within this JP version of the game. The game was very big. The production on it was very huge. They had a concert that happened in it. It was pretty crazy. So it's hard to imagine where it's really going to be at in regards to comparing it to this. Now, like there's pluses to it, of course, and there's cons to it, and it's really hard to say what it's going to be like. But as you can see here, the world is similar to what the original JP Blue Protocol was. As of right now, with these regions here, this is really just the main starting region. The JP version, of course, had a bunch of different regions by the time it was EOS into service. Whereas it's just the main region right here. I imagine that these other regions will be added to it as well. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it's coming along. It's a closed beta. I imagine they're moving pretty quickly with it. Especially this is under Tencent. They want to get it out. They have the funds to get it out. It's not like they're doing a completely new game because it was already JP Blue Protocol. So they have already the assets, all the assets there and stuff like that. So I expect it to be released, not too long from now. It wouldn't surprise me if it got released within 3 months of this being announced. It wouldn't surprise me at all, to be honest. So we'll see what happens. But I just really want to touch on who the hell A Plus Games is in BOKURA, because they're 2 mobile-centric games companies, and they're handling this game. And that's just a very sketchy situation all around. Like, there's no way other to look at that. A game that's cross-play for mobile and PC is going to be limited in some way, shape, or form, no matter what you do. It's going to be limited. So, we'll see what happens. But until then, this game is coming into 2025. Check out Play BPSR, Blue Protocol Star Residence, and it's coming to Steam, Epic Store, Google Play, App Store. So that's that for this one. Let me know down in the comments below what you're thinking about the game. Let me know if any of y'all played the game throughout its entirety in JP and what you think about Star Resonance. If you just only play the game, the first month, first week or whatever, then got banned or whatever, you're not really gonna have much input here because that game compared to this game is 100% better. Star Resonance compared to the initial launch of Blue Protocol, absolutely much better. Star Resonance compared to what Blue Protocol was at EOS, not so much. Now, of course, like I said, the certain mechanics like the dungeons and the gacha and all that stuff, like, yeah, of course. But like, in terms of the gameplay, not even close. Not even close. The gameplay and the worlds and stuff like that, not even close. So we'll see what happens here, but let me know down below. So be sure to like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Much love. Holla. Spike content.